No need to prolong this, I think. I've prolonged it long enough by remaking the start screen. Hello everyone. Welcome back to more Advent of Dreams. I'm a day behind now. Likely to get a day further behind. Why, thank you, Asaf. It is the most kit-bashed thing I've ever done, as with the rest of the scenes that I've created in Dreams. It's real nice when you can just, like, search the Dreamiverse for, like, snowy and find this. And then be like, cool, now I'll put the fire pit that I took from the Dreamiverse and the elf I found from the Dreamiverse, and I'll put them, like, in there. That's all there is to it. So, I have no idea what's in store for me today, but it can't be good. After the day 11 problem took me like 5 hours. Also, I'm starting this at like 10:30 p.m. my time, which is the perfect time to start a stream. But I was bored and didn't want to sleep. What else am I gonna do? It's my job now. So, let's take a look at the problem for yesterday, day 12. You can also see I picked up a few stars yesterday. I was working on some problems in JavaScript last night. My language of choice for knowing what I am doing when I'm writing quick scripts. And amusingly, actually I probably shouldn't pull up my whole Google Drive on stream. I have been timing the results when I remember to turn the timer on, which is like half the time apparently. I need to go back through my VODs at some point. Ooh, that reminds me. I didn't record. Yeah, I need to download some VODs from Twitch while I'm thinking of it. But I have been timing myself doing the problems in JavaScript just because, like I said, I know what I'm doing. And it's a scripting language, so it's got all the little conveniences you would ever want for just doing stuff with lists when you don't care about it being that efficient, and you don't have to most of the time for Advent of Code problems if you just want an answer. I mean, they're taking me like 10 minutes average, as opposed to the several hours that it takes me to do them in Dreams. So it's a fun point of comparison, really fun, will only continue to get more fun. And on that note, let's see what day 12 was. Hill climbing algorithm. You try contacting the elves using your handheld device, but the river you're following must be too low to get a decent signal. You ask the device for a height map of the surrounding area, your puzzle input. The height map shows the local area from above, broken into a grid. The elevation of each square of the grid is given by a single lowercase letter, where A is the lowest elevation, B is the next lowest, and so on up to the highest elevation, Z. Also included on the height map are marks for your current position, S, and the location that should get you the best signal, E. Your current position, S, is elevation A, and the location that should get the best signal, E, has elevation Z. You'd like to reach E, but to save energy, you should do it in as few steps as possible. During each step, you can move exactly one square up, down, left, or right. To avoid needing to get out your climbing gear, the elevation of the destination square can be at most one higher than the elevation of your current square. That is, if your current elevation is M, you could step to elevation N, but not to elevation O. This also means that the elevation of the destination square can be much lower than the elevation of your current square. For example, if we start here, Z is the highest? Yes. We're trying to get from S to E. I've got a really funny idea for this already. Trying to get from S to E. So naturally we could step up by 1 to A, up by 1 to B, up by 1 to C, across to C. Couldn't step up to S, right? There's only so many ways that you could even go. Right? So is there only one unique solution here? This thing makes it look like there's only one way through. I'm a little confused. There isn't only one way through. So, looking at this, you can see that the example path they give, they go down, then right, then down, then right. But they could just as easily go down, right, right, down. I mean, at this point, they'd just be looping around and they wouldn't be achieving anything, right? But so this is sort of like, no doubt intended to be a Dijkstra's style, A-star style problem. I'm not sure I want to do that. Also, how big is my input? Pretty big. Certainly big enough. I'm just trying to get a feel for what they're even expecting of me here, you know? Also, looking at the puzzle input is not cheating. It's not. It's interesting. They've got more or less like the leftmost column is all A's, then all B's, and then it varies. It's just a lot of A and C, which A can't step right up to C, so I assume this is meant to suss out sort of like a maze with, there must be some B's in here somewhere, right? Oh, right. B gets you up onto all the C's, and then the A's are just holes to trap you. And there's a path through all the C's. And there, I see E in here. Is there D? Yeah, so then there's just one way in basically, because then you have to climb up the D plateau to the E plateau to F to G to H to I to J to K. The K's there are bait. L, you can see the overall path that they're sort of expecting you to take through this. Wait, were there two? Oh, there's two M plateaus. Although one isn't hooked up to the L. Now I'm confused. You must have to go down again. J, K, L, because M doesn't border on N. So you must have to go M, but then back down to the other K plateau. Then up to L again. M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X. And at that point you can get straight into the end. So, or do you have to climb up to Z and then to E? Ah, you do have to climb all the way up to Z. Oh, I missed your messages. Okay. Interesting. None of that means anything because I'm not going to be using that input, but I was just sort of trying to get a better sense of what they were expecting out of this problem. So, So I've got a funny idea for how this could work. I do. And I'm gonna give it a go, I think. Let's hop back into Dreams and try something unusual. So what I want to do is basically a flood fill. You know, makes sense, I think. But the question is, what does it look like to flood fill in Dreams? And I have a funny idea for how to do this. Let's get an elf, as we always do. Actually, I had to look at these horrible monkeys the whole time on day 11. And I much prefer my little elf buddies here. So, here's what I'm wondering. Here's what I'm wondering. What does it take for an elf to clone itself? What does it take? I'm pretty sure I did this before. I did some shenanigans and figured out how to do this. So, helpfully I can specify where an object is spawned, what direction it's facing. I can emit with wires, although that probably doesn't help me this time. I can set what object I want to emit, at which point that object kind of becomes inactive. When I collapse the emitter, the emitted object is no longer with me, although it kind of is, right? I can turn on and off preview invisibility so that this quote-unquote invisible elf becomes visible. And I say quote-unquote, but it literally is. When it when we're in game, the emitter is just spawning elves once a second. Not exactly what I was going for. But point is that it's not actually present in the game because it's part of our friend the emitter. But I swear I figured out a way. I swear I figured out a way to do this before. Maybe they all just had a reference to the same emitter, or all their emitters had a reference to the same object. Is that possible? Kinda doesn't seem possible. Doesn't let me pick that one. Kinda doesn't. Or does it? Or does it? They absolutely can. They absolutely can. That's good to know. So, confusing me. Despite, so here, I mean, let me literally just start over and sort of prove to myself that this works. Because preview invisibility is on, it's now letting me select the same exact object. I can have multiple emitters pointed at the same object, and they will both work. Because these are both referencing literally the same base ELF here. And if I put an emitter on that, perhaps you see where I'm going with this. Why are you powered down? Hey man, it works. Self-replicating. Now, it may not be strictly self-replicating, and in fact, it may be kind of pointless to have it pointed back at itself like that, because I think each different instance, suffice to say, I don't think that's actually super helpful, but well, but maybe. Now, actually, the fact that it didn't like me spawning so many elves is maybe a concern. But make that work. I think what I'm asking here is a little bit crazy, right? I like what I'm curious about is essentially like spawning these things with any data. Can I have wires connected to these things and expect that to work? It seems kind of implausible. But maybe not. My question is probably one of recursive scenes. Like if I were to let me try something. If I put microchip on this guy, and I have a variable in it that I can set to some random value. And I'm going to start out with a variable modifier. I'm just gonna call this like foo. It's a variable modifier for foo that operates in my local scope. And I can set it to stuff. But now here's the question. If I save you as your own scene, your own contraption, recursive elf. I think I know the answer to my question, which is that I can't actually have a version that references its own version because I have to save new versions every time that are like different scenes, you know? Because if I wanted this guy to have an emitter, that, well, one has to wonder, what if I was like, emit me? And also, on emit me, well, also it'll be really funny if when I close this, goodbye, everything. We'll never see you again. Now, preview invisibility would keep that from happening, but that is really funny to me. I'm going to grab a switch just so that I can power on yonder emitter. Because I'm going to want to kind of, oh no, actually. We're just going to set it up to 5 seconds so that it's like less catastrophic. We're also going to grab a randomizer. Oh, this doesn't give me a random number, does it? Is there a way to just get a random number? Because I kind of just want it to give me a random number. Can I build a multiplayer maze game with a leaderboard? That would be funny. Crowdfund a solution. Tell you what I'll do instead. Randomness is for suckers. We're using the clock. So, nothing will now ever persuade this to spawn, which is obviously bad, but we got an idea. Because remember how I could have two emitters pointing at the same thing? Because when preview invisibility is on, it just lets me do this. This is gonna work great. Hey Jet Yeti. I'm trying to make recursive elves. There's probably no need to make that its own separate scene, but oh, interesting. I see. It didn't actually even put the recursive elf in my scene. Oh, I stamped it, but it's invisible. There you are. Stealth elf. So, if I power up a switch to this, now maybe I can convince all hell to break loose. So, nothing happening, right? Well, there's an elf. And now 5 seconds later, uh-oh, he spawned a duplicate of himself. Excellent. Excellent. This is exactly what I wanted. They're growing exponentially. Let's bake those. And take a look inside. Well, there's their scripts. So this one has a value of 31. This one has a value of 21. And so they do actually have per instance state, which is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I like where this is going. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. In fact, I did actually have the thermo max out on me a little bit ago. But I mean, when you've got like, you know, 50 puppets in your scene, is it any wonder that the like gameplay logic thermo maxes out? Anyway, this is what I wanted to test out, right? I was like, can I get elves that clone themselves? And I think I can. I think I, in fact, can. So, that's very intriguing. I'm a fan of that. I also didn't need it to be a separate scene, so I'm not going to bother with that. So here's what I want to do. I want to flood fill this scene in order to get a proper mountain climbing elf party. But I am trying to get them to spawn on their own so as to solve a programming problem, if you can believe it. I am going to grab another elf. Not the recursive kind, just a normal single elf. Because I need to figure out how big I want my little grid to be here. So let's see. You can stand right about there. That'll help me sculpt the world's best. I mean, I'm basically going to end up doing another quote-unquote tree like I did the other day. Which is to say, not really a tree, just a cube that was colored green because, you know, who can be bothered to sculpt anything? Let's see here. Does that line up on any? There we go. That's a grid unit that makes sense. I think it's just a perfect one unit, which is exactly what I want. I think. I am trying to, yeah, so let's see here. We're gonna oh, whoops. Do need to be actually painting. Is that tall enough? Is that like 26 units tall? I wasn't counting. Here, let's count here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. It's not quite tall enough. I was very close. Let's style this slightly. No, not painting. No. I don't remember how any of this works. Let's see. Make me all loose and snowy, please. No, that's not what I want. How do I make them all point in random directions? I thought that's what Ruffle would do. What looks snowy? Which flex looks snowiest? It doesn't actually matter. So, this is going to be the mountain that my elves are going to climb. Or rather, a grid of these are going to make the mountain that my elves are going to climb. I think that what I'm going to do is a similar system to what I did for the day with the trees, where, in fact, why don't I just go look at how I did that again, just so that I'm not doing this completely from memory. Let's, why does it name it that automatically? Give me the chance to name it, please. Whatever. Here, I can look back at my collection here. So these are the trees, all programmatically configured to grow to different heights. And then the challenge here was to figure out how many trees were visible. So I have this guy run around with a laser scanner, where you can see that trees that are obscured by other trees do not get scanned. But for now, the part that I'm interested in is actually this. Let's take a look at how I did that. So, first of all, I had just some things that lay out the grid for me. But this is the main thing. This in here. Well, that's the actual program. Let's see. What on earth was any of this for? Oh, that's right. I had all the rows of the grid laid out as 5-digit numbers, and then I had stuff to like pull 1 digit at a time, and then I loop through that. And yeah, the actually interesting thing, I can recreate that little bit of code pretty easily, but the interesting thing is, I think this, because basically each of these has a follower on it that's moving it to a particular point. The follower is located at the very top, and therefore I can just go to exactly whatever height I so choose by just like punching in the grid start tag here. There's tags hidden under the ground that are defining where things are sort of centered. But I think I just take that. I'm confused. Don't I get the... No, I did hard code 0. Okay, so this problem had to be at the origin, but that's not a big deal. Well, that's what I'm going for again. With this thing. So let's build a similar thing. So let's grab ourselves a follower again. We are going to want to do that, I'm pretty sure. And we are probably going to want to do the same thing again where, well, hold on. I guess it is already nicely on the grid. But we need to move you up to precisely the very top. There we go. Because that's going to be the point that we want to bring to a particular place. We're going to want, again, the same thing where when we spawn, we need to take our current X and Y and just keep that. I just never ever want to think about the X and, well, I guess it's Z coordinates after I spawn the thing. So what I can do is put a tag at the same point, the center, such that when I get its position here, nice work, Dreams. I can save out the X and Z, but let the height be something else. I did that before I had variables for it, but that seems so overkill when I could just throw a signal manipulator on it and like... Does this... My question is basically if this works though, if I like spawn it with... guess we'll find out. Anyway, what I can do is basically just forge a new position using our initial X and Z, but feeding in a new Y, which is the height. All this position stuff goes directly into the target position port on the follower, so as to bring it to where it needs to go. So I could then just like throw a value slider on this just to play with it. So let's just say that that goes up to like, well, how about 26? Because that's actually the height that I want to go to. Kind of. Probably less than that. Yeah, definitely less than that actually. I mean, that works pretty well. I definitely want to... Let's see, I wonder how well that's gonna work. Yeah, that moves almost perfectly linearly. That works for me, to be honest. This one actually isn't supposed to be pretty. Now I suppose I should look at what my grid unit was, because I made it 26 tall-ish. They were eighths. They were 1/8. Yeah. Good to know. Which means, I guess, that I could get more or less the heights that I expect if I divided this by 8. That's definitely not right. Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot that the grid lines, the major grid lines are drawn at 2, which is just exactly what you want. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. This is looking how I wanted it to look. Those should be steps that are small enough that the puppets will auto jump and all that goodness. And I could actually just scale it sort of arbitrarily to make him a little taller if I want, and I can just extend the sculpture if necessary. Actually, you know, heck with it. I'm going to. We're just gonna make these things super tall because I want to that's all there is to it. He's getting kicked out of it. So that all works pretty well. What this means is that I can make a grid of these. So what I want to do is probably let's just make the whole script for that right now. Oh my goodness, turn off grid snap. Turn off grid snap. So let's set this whole thing up. We're going to need to replicate the problem here, and let me grab that problem and get it on screen. So the letters here correspond to heights. What this means is that I have to make just a crap ton of value sliders like I always do, but it's fine, I'm used to it. So I'm gonna make yet another microchip actually to contain this. The reason why will be apparent eventually. Each row has 8 letters. Each one is going to be a value slider from (0 to 25. I'm going to keep it 0 indexed, just because that, I don't know, man, it makes a bunch of things easier. Well, does it though? This is what I always do. It actually doesn't really in this case. We'll make it 1 to 26. So that is the letter of the alphabet that corresponds to. And, you know, because I hate trying to remember which letter of the alphabet corresponds to what, we're going to pull up a script that I was using for a different day. And we are going to just tell it to compute the numbers for me. So I can basically take something like this, that initial S is an A, and I can run it through this and it'll just tell me the numbers very slowly, you know, very, very slowly. Do that for all of these. Going to keep that other program off to the side because we're going to do something a little different here. You'd think by now I would know how to do some really basic things in Lua. Yeah. So that's working actually. Let's see, I think it is table.insert. Isn't it? Ah, gosh. Yeah, I was right. That's not gonna work, is it? Oh, it figures. Does this work? This totally doesn't work either, does it? Also, this code runs slower than I ever thought possible. It's because this Lua site that I built is like doing a bunch of debug hook things so that the code is actually interruptible. Yeah, I didn't think that worked. Is there like a join? No. Should have done this in JavaScript. And that's probably a type error of some kind. You're kidding me. You're kidding me. It did it with new lines anyway. Well, joke's on me. Joke is on me. How do you do this? Why did that not work? All right. The joke just remains on me tonight, but I'm not gonna get hung up on this. It produced the numbers I wanted, and that's it. That's the end of it. So let's just get this into dreams already, shall we? The thing is that I wanted like a nice screenshot of it. I'm not gonna get one. I'll just have it up on my other screen for myself. And that'll just be easier. It's not the kind of night when I'm gonna have high production value. So, if I show our picture again, so that we know what we're referencing, my other monitor tells me that it will be I hate when they space out bad. But they always space out bad, so it's whatever. 1, 1, 2, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13. There's one row. Let's hook up all the powers. Many thanks to whoever it was who told me that I can hold down L1 to just continually attach wires. And it just works. So there's all those. We can wire them into an output node. So that this way we pick one number at a time, depending on what the selector is outputting. It's not a bad idea, you know? Build the productivity tools that you need for yourself. Because I'm paranoid, we're going to hard code 8 for this, for all of these, because, well, frankly, there's no need to actually have it outputted from here. We know the size of our problem, except we don't. It's a 8x5 grid, and it's still whatever. I can still hard code it. I need an input node for the current index. That is going to be hooked up to the active port thing. That's what allows us to select any of these numbers. This one is going to be the height, I guess. Height. So that is a single. What is happening here? What is the... Yo, Dreams? What is this, Dreams? Get out of there. What on earth is that? Lurking back there. So that is one row. I'll call this a row. Just need to input 5 more of those. I tried plugging in a USB keyboard, just my usual PC keyboard here, and it didn't work, which is kind of disappointing. But also, you just don't type that many things in Dreams. So, let's see. What am I doing renaming this? This is not what I meant to do. The next row is 1, 2, 3, 18, 25, 24, 24, 12. And that seems accurate with what I'm seeing on the left here. Next row is 1, 3, 3, 19, 26, 26, 24, 11. Makes you miss copy paste. 1, 3, 3, 20, 21, 22, 23, 10. One more row. One, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So then that gets another selector. See? You see how this terrifying logic works? No. No. And then those all output into here. And this now we can put an iterator on. Gonna need a couple iterators actually. I mean, I guess in this case, I'm actually gonna just do a single iterator that just does 8 times 5 iterations, which I'm going to do with value sliders because I'm paranoid and want to sort of document this, obviously. It's not because I'm paranoid, it's because I want to document it. Current index flows in here, except it doesn't. Because we need to do some modulus tricks. And here, let me actually drop all that on this thing. There's no reason not to. Row and column nodes coming in. Where this is the row. And that is the column. Now I can easily compute row and column using some modulus math, which is, I think, going to be a little more reliable than 2 iterators. Or it's just going to be, you know, less prone to horrifying problems on my part. that's going to be our row. No, that's going to be our column. My bad. Because we want it to be cycling 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you know. We want to divide and round down. In order to get the row. So, just like that. Yeah, there's been a lot of eaterage. Yep. Let's now finally set up the emitter that is going to spawn all of our little mountaintop segments. Hold on. That'll do. We will spawn one such object whenever we power this on, and it'll be powered on by the use port of my iterator. How many bytes of RAM do I have? Well, you should see the old memory cell that I built to store a single number before I learned that I didn't have to do this anymore because of some improvements in Dreams. I was like, screw it, I'll store it in binary. And so this. So here we have, here we have a bit that uses a 2-port selector to store in a sticky fashion a single bit. And you got 8 of those, you know, all lined up to be, to turn a number into the binary encoding. And then you can just stack 4 of those together and you got yourself a 32-bit fixed point integer, or fixed point decimal. I don't need to do that anymore, and I'm so thankful. I actually had precision bugs arise at one point, which was like, why did I do this to myself? This is the most programmery thing I've ever done. Invent binary precision problems for myself entirely artificially in Dreams. So what this is gonna do is let's see, if the width of one of these, and I guess I can call this width. I mean, I think it's just 1. There's really no need to name that width, was there? Actually, yeah, there's totally no need. They're a size of 1. My math is easy. Everything is good. My starting position is going to be, let's see. You know what? I'm not going to bother trying to center around the origin or anything clever. We are just going to hook something into the scene space transform port here. I'm not sure if I can just do 3 numbers. I think I can just do a position. I don't need like an entire transform. So for my 3 numbers, what I need is actually 0 coming in on number value B there. I need I guess rho times, well, no, I guess rho is going to be my Z value. Maybe I might need to negate that. And column is going to be my X value. And let me just hook up a switch to this so that I can actually spawn all these things. Could add a clock thing in a little bit, but I just want to. That's not what I wanted them to do at all. But you can see that it's at least attempting to place them in a grid. But I did, in fact, forget to actually like wire them up to anything. Also, yeah, the height here, I didn't actually like send this along to here in any way, which is important. So we're going to throw a, well, we'll see if this works. I might need to do a little more grouping. Height. Why is that? My typo is now the suggested thing, and so it shall forever be. We're just going to have a variable modifier that sets height only in this scope, which is what allows it to be sort of a per instance variable, and only when powered on, which should occur right away when we spawn, and that'll be hooked up to here. Well, that went straight to 0, as did that, you know, it's all exactly how I wanted it to be. Let me try spawning this with wires. It might actually help. Problems abound, but I think I know what's going on. I needed to put the microchip in a group because that here scope, where it's like only modify variables that are here, it relates to a group. Like now I'm scoped into this group. Anything outside is not here, it's there. So unfortunately, this variable modifier was causing all of the things that I spawned to modify their value. Also, this stupid thing doesn't even work. So we are going to replace it with X and Z variables. That we will just set the same way. When powered on, set to whatever value only here. That's not what I meant to do. Why are they? Why? Why? Know you not what here means? That's annoying. Also, I think I probably do eventually have to pass in a larger negative number there because it like spawns it halfway up. But that's not really a big deal. So why is it moving over? This is so weird because this should run. This should like set these variables exactly one time ever, and then they should be stuck that way. X and Z shouldn't be changing, which means this thing should never actually move. And yet, of course, this is exactly what's happening, so. So let's figure out what's going on. The height changing here, I can kind of see this one's actually working. This one's actually working, so what gives? Like if I resume here and I keep spawning more, oh no, they are all changing height to match each other. What garbage is this, man? Oh no, I know what the garbage is. The garbage, you see, is that I was actually pointing to an object inside the group, not to the whole group itself, which meant that my scoping didn't work. Isn't that intuitive? Yeah, there we go. I did something wrong. Yeah, that's some busted modulus math. Yeah, I'm really dumb. No, it's recycling them. Because I told it to. No maximum emitted, please. And here, I'll be nice to myself and put a clock in here. So it'll just tick away. It's pretty good. So, this now makes some intuitive sense for why this is the path that they need to climb. I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, it's pretty nice. So, I should be able to, let's see here. We're gonna pause the scene. We're gonna go into bake emitted, and bake be emitted? Bake them all. And then I can just power down this little microchip and never have to worry about, oh, what? That's pretty freaking stupid. Slurp. My whole scene disappears because because every one of them now has a microchip on it that is like, whoops, set your height right when you power on. Now it's 0. Dang. That's pretty stupid. Well, you know what? Whoever said I needed to do this whole baking thing. I never liked baking anyway. This can just be how my problem starts. I don't mind. I mean, who could mind that? It's too nice. So now begins the very strange process of actually figuring out how to climb this. Let's see, I'm going to first put out a node here just for when this iterator is done, which it is, which will allow me to sequence the next part of my program. This whole thing can be a little sub-component that just runs to kick things off. So, save that. And actually, well, that isn't working quite as well as I hoped. See, I thought they like auto jumped. Maybe they don't auto jump when you're possessing them. There, just count the steps. Easy. I wonder if these guys can take fall damage. It'd be really funny if they could. That's pretty pleasing to look at. So as I said at the start of the stream, I kind of want to do a flood fill. Where if there are two options for what I want to do, I want to actually like spawn another copy of me in that direction, you know? That makes sense, right? Right? One thing I could actually do, now that I'm thinking about it, to make my job a little easier I'm gonna turn preview invisibility back on. We're gonna hop into the code on here and do a little more. So we're going to put a wireless trans. Ooh, what am I gonna do? I kind of want to do like a system where I can easily query my neighbors, I guess. I'm going to put a wireless transmitter on this thing called height. So that'll just be transmitting out into the world to say, I am this tall. I am then also going to set up some wireless receivers that can be like up height. I'll start with the right one because I think that'll be the easier one to demonstrate. So this is going to look for a signal called height in a conveniently 1x1 box to the right of this thing. So that'll be like, let's see, I need to move this 4 ticks to the right. And then I can conveniently just set the extents of the box like so. And in fact, if I have this rule that I can only go up by 1, I won't bother with that. I was gonna do something really just a really bad idea, just a terrible idea. But we'll make this like, 10 is fine. It's plenty big. So that is now the thing. Oh no, that's not actually plenty big, is it? Whatever. It can be essentially infinite height. That's basically infinite. 20 is basically infinite. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna set up this whole system of receivers and transmitters that allow me to query from the one that I'm standing on the heights of the things around me. Because the logic is going to be centralized in the ELF, which is in a particular place. And so it can be receiving height, and then right height, up height, left height, down height. Which are all just sort of plumbed through these transmitters here. So this one will be, I don't know, left height. Still just looking for height, but this one is going to be over here. You see? Okay. So now, each of those is actually broadcasting this up, down, left, right height. And the elf can then easily query such a thing. So that should be cool. So in fact, let me grab the elf that is currently hidden inside this thing and set him up with some interesting scripts, I guess. So what I think this guy can have is, well, first of all, I guess he needs some code. Where basically he can have a wireless receiver on him in a cylindrical shape. That's exactly how I wanted it to be. Yes. Yes, exactly. Yes. Or am I? This whole grid movement thing sucks. It's like, why are you down on the ground? That's exactly where I wanted it to be. Yeah, sure. Over here. That's exactly where I wanted it to be. Okay, there we go. Now, this still might not actually move with the guy. Oh, no, it does. Good. So, what this means then, if I turn it upright like so. Oh, you're joking. Aligning to grid rotates it back. Well, it doesn't actually matter. I guess it probably doesn't need to be that tall. It just needs to be like this. Well, actually, I do want it to be quite tall. Because when he falls from one to the next, I want it to trigger at a predictable time. So, I can now have several of these. Haha. So we can have the height. And then the directional heights. Left height. Right height. Up height. And down height. These annoyingly aren't showing me the actual numbers, but this can be remedied. I just want to grab one of my sliders that already has the correct range. Except they don't have the correct range. There we go. Boy, this would be really cool if it was working. Right height shouldn't be 1. It should be 2. And up height should be 1. It's peculiar. Are these transmitters located in a sensible place? Oh, they're not, are they? Because wireless transmitters are like weirdly located on the they're weirdly like right on the microchip in a way that is kind of annoying. But I can remedy this quite. Oh my, no, holy, oh my god. That's exactly what I wanted. How did you know, Dreams? How did you know that's what I wanted? Yep. 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 Oh, cool. Now nothing works. Why? Oh. Oh no. I think I know why. Hold on. How did I know? How did I know, dude? That's crazy. You know what? Screw it. I don't need to do that. I can just move these to here. Ha ha ha. You cannot defeat me, Dreams. I can just awkwardly snap all of these somewhere else. I am invincible. Perfect. This one is about, here it'll actually be a little bit clearer when I give this a run, finding the shortest path up to the top. Oh, it still doesn't work. That's nice. Why would that be? This time I thought I actually knew what was going on. Really thought I knew what was going on that time. Because these are all still in the right place. Fine, you know what? I'm just gonna freaking do it. I'm just gonna do it. You win, Dreams. Kinda. I'm just gonna do this. That's good enough. It still applies to the thing, and all I have to do is like marginally adjust the positions of some of these that are still, you know, basically on the grid. It's just Now they like moved up in a way that I didn't intend them to. So, not really a big deal. Hey, it works. Wait. It works, he said. God damn it. What? It works great. I was so focused on the numbers, which are correct. Wow, this is a new level of stupid. I actually do have to have this snapped on because, annoyingly, oh my goodness, you're kidding me with this. Because it needs to move with the thing. Otherwise, thing no move good, you know? You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? All right, let's move you back onto the grid again. Oh. That was strangely convenient. The grid is now like too big, but I can deal. That is weird. I'm a little bit confused by the fact that like align to grid also like rotates it. Like, why does it rotate it? I legitimately just don't see the reason why. These are the exact same size still, right? Like the extents are still 1, yeah. I mean, in this case, it's highly convenient for me that align to grid just puts it back at the orientation that I wanted it to be. But, wait, this is down height? Oh, man. I mean, the grid, like, it mostly works fine. It mostly does what I want, you know? Except when I'm trying to, like, move things around in grid snap mode, and it's just like, would you like if the camera just never turned correctly ever again? Finally, there it is. So, the whole point of these transmitters that I was setting up is that now, whenever an elf is standing on one of these squares, you can just look at the at this here and see I'm on a thing with a height of 1. There's nothing to my left. There's one with a height of 2 to my right, height of 1 to my above me, height of 1 below me. It's not so clear that every sculpting group has its own grid. Oh, I mean, I guess I didn't realize that either. I just dare not touch the grid origin thing, right? I did it once and it was like, well, now I can't undo that. That's not one of the things you can undo for some reason. So better not ever do that again. I'm sure there's a way to undo it, but I was not aware of how. So give that a save. I think the only other thing I want to do here is want to have another wireless transmitter. I want a variable on each of these pillars for visited. Because we're doing this flood fill thing, we need to know whether a particular thing has been visited or not. And it's of course going to start out false, but that's yet another thing that we need to transmit. I'm not down visited. No, this is me visited. Me. Wow. I just realized that I get to redo all of these because here's why. First, let's just put this up here. And then let's take this whole maze. No, here's what I need to do. We're not going to do height and visited anymore as two separate transmitters. We're going to do pillar. It's just me. We're gonna bundle these into a 2-wire because Dreams wireless transmitters can do that. So this now represents both the height and whether we've been visited or not. Then I simply get to change all of these to look at pillar. I really need not rename all those, but these I do have to rename just to remove height from the name. You have to use the sky as origin to get back to world grid. Weird. That would not be intuitive to me. Was not intuitive to me. Oh. It did not, in fact, change all of them to look at that. That's weird. Good to know. So this, instead of left height, is going to just be left. Is my controller drifting? Yeah, very badly, actually. It's not the right button at all. Was that slightly better drift? Is that what I have to work with? Fine. Okay. So now we gotta dupe all these. The power button, good idea. I can't tell if you're actually being serious or not. I have found that when I do the imp reset, like imp centering thing, it'll readjust for drift that way. So if I just set it on the table and center, then it's fine. That's what I was doing a second ago. Let me get a single instance of this set up the way I want. Ah, yeah, that makes sense. As a treat. Why do these stupid things have to space out wrong every time? So weird. The gaps just never line up. Okay, well, just like that, we have it. None of them have been visited. The heights are all right. Let's see, what else? It occurs to me that I don't have I might need to explicitly encode which one is the final square, but like I don't need to right away. So what I kind of want to do is now that we've got this whole setup going, where I can get at all of the like height data and whatever, I do need a I'm gonna need a follower that moves this guy to a desired location. It will have no strength in Y at all. I'm going to pass in the target position here, because basically, let's see, I'm gonna need a couple variables here. I guess I'll call them X and Z, because who am I kidding? Stick to the Dreams coordinate system today. We will assemble these into a beautiful 3-wire setup. 0 Y, but because the follower has no strength in Y, this is fine. Also, why are you not moving? Oh, that's right, I think I need to... No? You just don't? You just don't? This is supposed... I thought this would be going to the origin. You know? Oh, this microchip isn't attached to the elf. Well, I don't want to just attach to, like... Okay, seriously, why aren't you going to the place I want you to go? You know? Like, could you do that for me? Could you do that for me? Mr. Guy? Mr. Follower Guy? Could you, like... Oh, there we go. Why you know auto jump? Oh, it's actually because it's flickering that there, which is weird and bad. But that's kind of mostly working. Let's just throw in a... What am I trying to think of here? A value slider. One of these crazy things called a value slider. Oh my god, just stop it. Why did you turn? That's weird. Well, that's working pretty good. So this should work roughly to direct him up there. I might... Let's see. Why? Yeah. Why was your head doing that? Your head was... What the frick? What? Oh, it's bumping. His hat is pushing against the wall. Okay. Huh. You know, there might still be some bugs to sort out, but you know, this is already working like pretty well. He hopped right up to the first step of his little journey, so that's cool. In fact, what that means is that I can just put him over here, probably out of the ground. Yes, I love that. I love it. Hup. And now the shenanigans start. If, in case, you know, the shenanigans definitely haven't started yet. Now is when the shenanigans start. Because it's time to... it's time to set up something very weird. Let's see, I want to have variables over here, variable modifiers that will allow me to set the like initial X and Z of these guys. Which I can wire in to like, See, I can actually call this like next X. And next Z. What I'm about to do is set up an emitter. That is going to allow me to spawn a clone of myself that will step to another square. So what I want to do is we'll start with, let's see, let's get the emitter in there. It makes this whole thing very strange to start because when you emit yourself, then when you collapse this, you do not exist. But you do exist. You can reference that. The thing is that you just need something in the world that will sort of spawn you right away, which I guess can be over here on sort of the like program init. Really don't need that done node, do I? Well, it's kind of convenient. Have this be internal only, and we're going to have this power on this emitter, which, oh, yeah, wow, that sure is gonna do a thing. Actually, hold on a second. No, that's my problem. I was editing the wrong one. No, no, don't do that. What? What about once don't you understand? Oh no, it's this one, isn't it? Well, no. The frick? It's spooky now. So, let's see. This one is going to spawn a dude right out in front by a little bit. And he can be moving toward a different place. Ooh, that's what I can do. Maybe. It's gonna be a little bit dicey to like spawn a few different elves just in like with specific initial parameters. That's the thing that I'm like trying to figure out here. You know, I guess no, see the problem is like when you're pointed at yourself, then the like initial wiring situation is weird, and it's obviously just going to like spawn with the exact same code state. So like, what? You know, how do you like get them to behave differently? Oh, for crying out loud, this is not what anybody wanted. Where did all of this garbage come from? How do you do this? How do you spawn a copy of yourself with different like initial parameters? I was thinking, oh, I'll just step a selector to it, you know? Like, I'll just step a selector and spawn something, and now it spawns with the selector on that thing. But obviously, it's going to spawn as an exact copy of the parent working its way through that spawning loop. So like, that's not gonna work. I guess one thing that is different is that you know, nodes that are like run something once when powered on, you know, those would vary. And so I think that's basically what I can use in this situation. And I don't know. Let me just try something a little bit different here first. We're gonna just do a minor calculation change here. We're going to just add 1 in the z-axis for this one that we're spawning to move to the square below us, right? We're going to spawn when I press this big ol' switch that I'm going to put in the world. So, such a good, yeah. Oh, these both need to be in here scope. I'm glad I realized that. Huh? Well, this seemingly didn't do anything. Oh, it doesn't emit with wires. Of course. Well, even this doesn't work. I guess the new things that are spawned don't have like other external wires coming in. So never mind that. I'll just set up a controller listener thinger. Same as ever. We will just listen for the B button. Because this isn't possessible, it's just directly hooked up to this. This needs to happen one time and one time ever. Is there something that that would like detect the first, like just something that would fire the like first time I am alive? Like right when a microchip comes into existence. That somehow I could clone from my parent and still be like, aha, I am a new guy. Variable modifiers can have new values piped into them, but don't set the actual variable until they're powered on again, which I think would mean that when you create a new one, they would then actually set the thing. And so I guess you could do something like that to detect a newly spawned entity. Oh, and this is how I do it. This is how I do it. This is how I do it. I think this is how I do it. We'll find out if this is how I do it. This is going to be a, like, I'm gonna call this just state. Very descriptive name. But what I can do is, it's pretty easy to detect when, like, the first tick that something changes by doing this trick that somebody mentioned to me, where you basically just do like, you feed B background A, so that, like, you know, say that these are both 0, then you feed in 1 on here. And now A is 0 and B is 1. And so for one tick, they're not equal, right? But then for the next tick, they're both 1. So if you just throw a NOT gate on the output of this, you have yourself something that just fires when a value changes. What I'm thinking is going to happen, I hope, is that I can do something to this effect. I can have a new value going into state. No, I just realized something. No. I just realized something. These elves aren't cloning themselves at all, are they? They're all just cloning the original base elf. It looks like they're cloning themselves, but they're not. Damn it. I'm reasonably sure that this is true. Yeah, that's set immediately. And if I now like do this and set up a switch and all right, let's see if any of those have a value of 0.1. I meant to spawn just 1, but you know. Oh, they do. Oh. They are spawning clones of themselves. Oh. They are. Oh, maybe I can do this. Okay. What this means is that I can, once I like arrive at my target position, I can figure out which other directions I want to spawn. I can use the state thing to here, this is going to be the down emitter. I don't need this value change detection thing. Probably. Yeah, I'm basically certain that I don't actually. Because what I'm going to do, I do need the state variable. We're gonna make that selector again. And state is actually going to be just the port selector on here. So A is going to be the default state. That's like I am a normal starter elf. B is going to be I am a down elf. Where we're going to spawn, well, we're going to set state to 1. Unconditionally. And we're going to, well, no, actually, we don't want to. Oh, this is actually still a little more nuanced than I thought. We want to have this always here, but we want to have a value slider with value 1. Powered on. And that's the value that we pass in. We want this thing to be unconditionally on so that it never actually sets while this initial one is going, right? Like this guy should still have a state of 0, as he does. However, what we can do is, actually, this is not really what I want, is it? Here, we have to just do an experiment before we do anything else crazy. I'm just going to do it on a timer because I don't want to bother with other craziness. After like a few seconds here, I'm going to tick over to B, which is going to hopefully emit a down elf. Damn it. Now they're all spawning in that state and spawning more. What if I just want to spawn 1? How is that so much to ask? Here's what this is going to be. It's going to be spawn state. That's what we're going to name this variable. Oh, the space that was in there wasn't real? Nothing is real? So those should all hopefully have spawn state 1. And what spawn state 1 means, I guess, is this whole spawn state thing doesn't help me either. There's no reason to have spawn state. What am I doing, man? What am I doing? I think that this X and Z thing can work. Because here's what I think I need to do. I just need things that are like adjusted versions of the coordinates that I can feed into my X and Z variable modifiers. So this is going to have the input X and Z. But then each of these is going to do something a little bit different. Because each of them is going to compute new coordinates in some ways. So like for moving down, the x stays the same, but the z gets 1 added to it. Right, and then that would be powered on by this, and then these would feed in here, and of course when we start this up, this is all fine. God damn it. Stop. Other directions could spawn things differently, but what's the, oh gosh. When are you gonna spawn more? Oh, I unwired it. So let's see. I want to see now. You have coordinates 0, 0. You have coordinates 0, 1. You have coordinates 0, 2. Oh my god, it actually works. They're each spawning perfect copies of each other, but with modified coordinates on each one, so that they're all walking to different places. The only problem now is just that they're each continuously spawning because they're staying in this state. I need this to like fire once and be immediately back to the off state. Is that even possible? Is that even possible? Because the emitter is on the thing. The emitter is going to be powered. How do you avoid this? If I have like another one of these situations where I have a variable, I'm like comparing a variable's value against some other value, such that when I spawn, I have a new variable value because the variable modifiers ran. Would that be enough to suppress it? That was freaking weird. Steady stream of them dying and causing the screen to ghost out. Because yeah, even that doesn't work, right? Like they're all spawning in this B state. All of them. How is it even possible to spawn just once? Stop the chain, because you have to power this on to emit a copy of yourself. At which point you emit a copy of yourself with a powered emitter. Which just goes and emits another one, right? Because, like, obviously. I mean, like, what else would you do? I could cheat the system slightly in my case, actually. Here's what we'll do. I am forking the elves. I don't know if an external system would be easier. The problem is setting values on new things that you spawn using an external system, especially when you want things like running concurrently, because then you run into synchronization issues. Then things are really gross. You don't want that. You really don't want that. Let's see here. If I want to determine if, like, I'm really close to my target. So I guess that would just be if the length of, let's see, I need the, like, target position minus my current X and Z position. Does my puppet interface have any of that? Like, if I... Does this have, like, a position on it? Kind of don't think it does. Yeah, no, I don't think it does. We've reached the time of the night when I can't commentate anymore. In case you couldn't tell. I apologize. Quote about nil. Nil pickles. Kosher nils. Didn't quite work. Well, let's keep those powered off for now. They're being weird. This is good behavior. It's actually not too far off from what I wanted. Sun's gonna spawn a new one in the same. Yeah, okay, that's kind of expected. Because now what I need to do is actually not just insta spawn one of those, but kick over to I'm sort of back at square one. Okay, when this, no, I'm not actually, no, I'm not. Has an idea. Perfect. Does this work? Not really. So as it is, I was more right when I did this. I only want to spawn a new one when I'm close to my target. that little trick didn't work. It's unfortunate. But what I was thinking is that what I want actually is to begin a sequence that I only want to run on the parent. That's the tricky part. Because they all spawn as just a perfect clone of themselves, just a perfect fork. And how do you tell that you're not the original? Here. I have a variable called ID. We are continuously going to attempt to set, well, actually not continuously. Everything sucks. I think this idea can work. We're going to try to set the value of ID to ID plus 1. Now, a variable modifier only runs when it gains power, or when it comes into the scene powered on. Which is how I'm correctly getting some of these other things to fork, right? I like power this thing on. They spawn a new one that has a different version of these values. What I can do Are there object IDs? No. Oh no, this actually might work okay. Let's see. What's your object ID, Mr. Sir? One. It's not surprising. When you spawn more and you don't. No, but the next one will have ID 2. So I think that is actually an incrementing ID per instance. Here, let me hook that up and we can test that out. Oh, that's perfect. I mean, it's fine. This is actually fine. Unironically. So your ID is... I know the problem. Only here. Set here. Thanks. Okay, now. Your ID is 1. Your ID is 2. Your ID is 3. It's really more of a generation than a unique ID, but it does work, right? That's the generation. In fact, I might call it generation. I can use full names. So I can in fact track generations. How does that help me, you might ask? Well, if I don't know. Let's see here. Excuse me. Have a weird idea. Equal to what? What am I thinking here? I'm wondering if this is gonna spawn with like 2 stored in it. This is never gonna work. Forget this, this is stupid. I must be overthinking this because, like, I had a thing that almost worked, which was this. It doesn't spawn until it gets close to its target, and then because its target is something different, you know, they're all trying to walk back to the same place. But what if I actually just powered it from this instead? He's gonna walk to the wrong place. No, he's not. Why are you not doing anything anymore? Why are you not doing anything anymore? Why are you not doing anything? Is that not aligned to the grid? Oh, it's not. Well, whatever, it doesn't matter. Some lo-fi this is. They're all trying to, they're not trying to move to the right place. This doesn't make any sense. I expect him to be moving to... Oh, I powered those down. Forgot about that. All right. So he's gonna go to the wrong place, but that's fine. Yeah, okay. So that's actually like thing is, here's the thing. Now I only spawn one. The way that I can break the cycle is by spawning it in a different place and only spawning when I'm close to a certain place. That actually kind of works. What I guess I can do this is close now. Okay, I can hack this. The generation is greater than 1. What the god damn it, Dreams. That's pretty not bad. But here's the thing. The thing that I was getting hung up on, and that was making me do a bunch of difficult stuff, is that I wanted to spawn multiple clones, right? I wanted to spawn a right clone, a down clone, a left clone, an up clone. And have each of them sort of do different things. Which I struggle to do. Oh my god, this is easy. This is not a problem. I can do the sequence thing that I wanted to do. I just need to and it with something. Okay. All right. All right. I think I've got it. I think I've got something that'll work for real this time. So. What's gonna happen is when we get close to our target, we're gonna go into state B, which is going to start our sequence of spawning in different directions. If we're not close to our target, then we go to state A. This will hopefully prevent any of these guys from spawning. Well, and in fact, another step I'm going to do is definitely going to prevent them from spawning. So what we're going to do now, we're going to have a sequence of steps that modify the coordinates that we want to spawn at. So we can spawn like a down one and a right one to begin here. You know, I can just move this up here, patch that across. Now we've got a new X and Z. I don't think we need any of this generation stuff. It's neat that we can do it, but I just don't think it's useful right now. Each of these is going to have a corresponding direction that we're spawning. So like I can duplicate the down spawner and call it right. And it's going to spawn to the right, like so. So just spawning in a different place from this one. The way that it's going to work is we only spawn if we're close to our target, and we let's see. These are just all our spawners. And then we're going to feed these in as well. So there's sort of an and condition here. Yeah, each of them is going through their own sequence of spawning just down. So in addition, I'm going to hopefully spawn one to the right as well now. I mean, that's almost working. I think the issue is when they bunch up. But like that worked perfectly. And that, I think, actually worked near perfectly, but I think they're jostling around a little bit more than they should. I should probably make them not collide. Just not collidable. This is not really what I intended. It's just not really what I intended. Here, we'll say he doesn't collide with friend, because he is labeled as friend. They're still bunching up a little. Don't claim to know exactly why. They just start really, really mashing together there. They are walking to the right places, which I feel is promising. What would happen if I mean, this is a bad idea, but come on, why can't I grab? I can't, what? This isn't grabbable? That's weird. It's trying to shrink him. I think the problem is mainly that they're like... mainly that they suck. I think that's the problem. Their heads all seem to collide with each other, but nothing else. Makes sense. Makes sense. They start like hyper spawning. Why is unclear to me. It's like the first step actually works. And like you're in state C? Wow, that didn't work. So that's the problem. Lucky me, you're not, yeah, wow, neat. That's neat. Let me try a little something with this generation now. Let me try that looping trick to see if I am a new generation. To be fair, I don't think that this will help, since apparently that didn't help. Whatever pulse there may have been there didn't do anything. Yeah. So I'm not actually resetting back to this the way that I hoped. Okay. I need a way of resetting. this selector when I spawn. And it's as simple as I'm not at my destination yet. Which is why I thought that setting up this NOT gate, like I'm not at my destination yet, would be good enough. And I could see that this was the only wire that was high, but apparently it was that way when it spawned. So it didn't register as like a rising edge, so it didn't like... you know, didn't actually change the selector. Which is very interesting. Almost makes me wanna put some sort of like stupid pulsing clock on this to just be like poking it all the time and being like reset, 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 reset. I mean, I have to try this now, right? Made no difference. Well, it did go back to state A though. Actually served its purpose. Hey, Ichiban Kaneda. Oh, this controller drift again. Look at that. Look how fast that drift is. There we go. Much better. So, interestingly, my little tactic did in fact set us back to state A, where it proceeded to exhibit all the same problems. Also back in state A, with correct looking coordinates. Those coordinates are not right. Oh, I didn't wire those up because I'm an idiot. So some of the coordinates were getting janked up. I mean, that's not the whole story, but yeah, I love drifting. What I should really do is just extremely slowly spin my chair to compensate, you know? Like, I'm gonna go on a limb and say this is actually working, but there's a little bit more work that needs to be done. First of all, I have no way of actually tracking whether one of these has been visited. So what I need to do is actually, when the elf gets to a particular pillar, they need to track that that pillar has been visited, then I think probably after a frame delay, they can go on their merry way. So I'm gonna set up a another wireless transmitter here for track visited. We have visited this space. That's going to take a variable modifier and modify the visited variable, setting it to 1. That. Or, there we go. So, that will track a visit. Our friend the ILF can then use its wireless receiver here to actually track that. And this will overall allow me to, let's see, I can actually shrink that down pretty good. This is going to go to the track visited thing, which is gonna I think we can actually simplify some of this. Yeah, so we'll send the value into there, like pow. Please track that this thing is visited. You know, pow. We can then use the visited signal here to actually kick off this sequence. And then what we can do is we can, okay, that didn't work. Pillar is visited. We went to state. Oh, there shouldn't be a NOT gate there anymore. Or, no, really what there should be is there should also be a wire going from here to state B. Here, I'm gonna make a node to keep things organized. Yes, yes, this is what I want. Almost. There's still a few too many, but that's a more controlled rate of flood filling. So this is good. This is good. I like this. This is good. This is a good thing. I'm still not sure why I can't. Actually, I dare not mess with that. We're gonna keep that. Focus, Ben, focus. Actually, it's now not clear to me why. No, you know why it's controlled? This guy didn't spawn anything. Why aren't you spawning things, man? The pillar you're on isn't visited? You didn't track a visit? Well, that's peculiar because you are sending the track visited signal. And yet. Oh no, it's over here. Well, that's weird. I think that perhaps this radius is just too small. Yeah. This is still more controlled. This is actually still doing what I want because these need to be further modulated by whether the nodes over here have been visited or not. So what that means is like this should have an AND gate with, this is gonna get somehow even messier than it already is. We only want to spawn one to go to the right if the right one isn't visited. Or I guess this one's down. Right? This one's down. So this would be and not down visited. Then that would power that and power that. Likewise for the one to the right. Still not ideal, I guess. We also need to do it only if there's anything in that direction at all, which is what I'm doing now. So, in many respects, this is working how I want it to work. In many other respects, this is absolutely not. So didn't really think about the fact that in this flood fill, two things could absolutely target the same space just by accident because of two individual paths taken through the grid. It's not ideal. It's not ideal. Does this stop the head collision issue? No. Makes more homunculi. That's an issue I don't know how to fix. My brain is shutting off. It's 2 in the morning. I'm streaming for 3.5 hours, and I have to work tomorrow. I'm gonna have to pick this problem up again tomorrow. Nothing I can do about it. We have reached the phase of advent of code where it takes me multiple days to do a problem. That's how it is. So, this is where I call it. Thanks for hanging out. Back again tomorrow to finish this problem up. I hope. So, see ya. Good night.